Live, all the way live. Oh, wait. Oh, and I don't have any coffee. I don't have any coffee with me this evening. Let's see who all jumps in on the live stream this evening. Hope everyone is having a great Monday evening. Or I guess depending on where you're at in the globe, you could be rolling into Tuesday already. So hopefully your Tuesday morning is going well. Just depends on where you're at. Doing good. Yeah, so I couldn't remember, Jeff, if I didn't know in the video if I had given you credit on the, hey, you know, do 30 TC or 6.5 Creedmoor to 30 TC. I couldn't remember if I mentioned your name or not because I filmed those videos in a few different segments. So, but yeah, I remember that once you commented, I was like, yeah, I thought it was Jeff. So I'm doing good today though. What's up all? What's going on? 18 wheels. Reloading Quest is in the house. What's up, my guy? Great. Yeah, no, it was. That was a, well, and the reason it's a 6-shot group is because I had 10 pieces of brass that I converted that I wanted to test. And I just threw a random charge, just 43 grains. I backed off the charge that I normally shoot because the case capacity was, you know, pretty wonky from the shoulder being pushed back so far. And so the volume was a little bit off. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to shoot 43 grains. And it's just a random charge. Well, I shot the first 4 over on a steel plate. And I was like, holy smokes, those things look like they stacked in there. Let me switch and shoot the last 6 on paper and see what the target looks like. And yeah, that was a good 6-shot group. I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised that it shot as well as it did. So that was nice. But that makes me, you know, now that makes me want to go and test a little bit lower in the charge weight range with Shooter's World match rifle with the 168 grain, the hollow point version of that bullet, just to see if the precision will tighten up. You know, see if the group sizes will shrink a little bit. Oh, happy Monday, by the way. Hope y'all are doing all right. Oh, happy Mother's Day yesterday as well. So hopefully everyone, you know, if you still have your mother with you, hopefully you were able to see her. Or, you know, if your wife's a mother and the whole 9, you know, hopefully you went all out, right? Whoever's a motherly figure in your life, hopefully you made the day special for them. But yeah, overall that conversion process was pretty straightforward, you know, and fairly simple. And yes, I should have annealed everything, but I didn't. That was kind of part of it too. I just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't. And now I've got 10 converted pieces of brass. I'm thinking I'm just gonna load up those same 10, just see how many firings I can get out of them. Right, that's probably going to be the next step. I did load up 50 rounds of 30 TC today, but I'm testing a different powder. So testing IMR 4895 with 5 different bullets. Yeah. So I think on those 10 pieces of Starline, I'm just gonna pick a load, you know, maybe the Shooter's World match rifle, because I got so much of it. Probably got 10 pounds of it. Probably just use that powder and go and see how many reloads I can get out of the 10 before I start to see some type of failure. But yeah, hopefully everyone had a good day today. And maybe you're doing some reloading yourself. Hopefully. Not at soccer practice tonight. We're at soccer tryouts. Spring season just ended for club, rolling right into the fall season, and they got to have tryouts for fall. And of course, the spring season ended on Saturday, so they have tryouts today. Whatever. Yeah, that's part of it too, right? Reloading quest, what you just said before they crack. So that's part of this whole process, right? I want to see, you know, and maybe it would be a test of, all right, I didn't anneal these 10 when I did the process, and I got 3 firings out of them right before I saw a failure. Okay, well, I can go get 10 more pieces of brand new Starline brass, do the exact same process to them, but anneal them, and okay, now I got 8 firings out, or whatever, right? Those are arbitrary numbers, but I think that's probably going to be the route that I go, is just testing that out. Because if it proves out and I'm able to get, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 reloads out of that converted brass, I mean, that's pretty good stuff. I'm a big fan of Starline, so taking an oversized load to Michigan from Massachusetts, oh, that sounds, there's a lot of driving. That does not sound fun. Oh, you're working on some 22-250. That's a cartridge I've loaded a little bit for 22-250 way back when, and just never, I don't know, I just never really got into it. It's man, that would be that's definitely a really good cartridge for, I know a lot of folks around here hunt whitetail deer with it. So, but obviously it's a Coyote, just absolute laser beam of a cartridge for coyote hunting. Man, we had a change in weather. Let's see, last week it was like 85, 87, 88 every day, humid as all get out, which is nice. I mean, we're rolling into summer. That's just how it is. It'll be 105 and humidity through the roof before too long. But then we had some tornadoes come through North Alabama. Let's see, was that Thursday night maybe? I can't remember which night it was, but we were up till, I don't think me and my wife went to bed till after midnight, because we had 2 tornadoes come through. There was an EF3 that went through. When they came through where I live, they weren't that severe. There was 2, and they followed the exact same track. Maybe they were about an hour apart, maybe hour and a half apart. But by the time they made it out to close to where her family lives, it was an EF3. And so we were, thankfully it stayed a little north of where they live. I mean, just like a handful of miles, you know, it's not like they were really far away, but it was an EF3. It was like a mile wide. It was crazy. So we had some pretty severe weather last week. And then the weekend was just about picture perfect. It was like 75, 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, a little bit of wind blowing. And then today, like, I know you guys can't really tell, but it's just gray, you know, overcast, gray, and a little chilly. So, but feels amazing. I mean, to me, feels amazing. Big difference from last week. Okay, you're loading up. So those are the 50 grain VMAX. You should have plenty to load with, that's for sure. You've had good luck not annealing, converting 30-06 280, but it will not hurt. A bunch of 22 250 for you. Yeah, well, and that's really, I mean, that's part of the test. You know, in my mind, I'm going to do this test. Now, whether or not I actually do it, you know, I might pull a JRB and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this test, and then I just don't do it. That's a possibility also. Because I mean, I still have 99 pieces of good 30 TC brass, so you know, it's not like I have to convert this brass to have something to shoot. I've got plenty that I can still shoot. So, but I am wanting to test out some different powders since I printed off the load data from Hodgdon's website. I went and printed all that off. What's going on, Harvey? Just another Monday. Another Monday at the soccer field. How are you going to anneal? Well, you know, that's a great question. And annealing is one of those, it's what I kind of lump it into, it's just witchcraft, right? When it comes to reloading, it's like black magic stuff that, because I mean, it goes back to, in my opinion, I put it in the same category as barrel break-in, because yeah, every day ends in Y, you better believe it. It's how, if you don't have something like an amp annealer, or if you don't have some form of well instrumented process, if you don't have a well instrumented process, or you know, I just like doing it with a propane torch, and I'm sure that works, but in terms of a consistency aspect to annealing and doing it consistently the same piece after piece after, you know, that's the part that is what's really kept me from, I know that's not a good excuse, but that's really probably the main reason why I have not gone down just the simple torch method, right, that a lot of people recommend. It's, you know, how do I know I'm actually doing it correctly and it's effective, right? There's no control of the process whatsoever. And in my mind as a manufacturing engineer, I don't know. It's one of those where I'm sure there's benefit to it, but I got to be able to figure out how to measure it and to see and to quantify it. Because if you can do that, if you said, hey, we take X brass over here and we run it through a torch, and then this other batch, the exact same batch of brass, whatever, right? And we don't run it through a torch, and then we simply go and load the ammo, you know, maybe you do 100 pieces of each, whatever, same lot number of Lapua brass, and then you just load the exact same load all at the same time, same bullets, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and then you just repeat that process. You go out to the range, you shoot all of them, you come back, you do the same thing, just the exact same step for step, and then you can say, hey, the annealing with a torch, although inconsistent, it got you XYZ, which is measurable, right? I don't know. That's one of those processes I really need to jump in on. Just haven't done it yet. Have you seen the DIY annealer that works similar? There's a lot of DIY annealers out there. There's a guy, what's going on, Richard? There's a guy that's jumped on here a few times that's been on some of the live streams. He actually messaged me on Instagram and sent me a picture of the annealer that him and his dad are working on. It's a pretty slick setup. I think it's induction annealing. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube about all that. So don't anneal unless you have to, but for converting the brass, it's supposed to help. So, and that might be the thing, right? It's like, if I'm converting the brass, then the propane method is way better than not doing it, right? I don't know how to quantify that, but let's just make that assumption. But then again, just for my normal process of brass prep, it's the inconsistency of it that is it's not concerning, but I just got to move past it, I guess. You ordered expander mandrels for 25 and 338 cal from L.E. Wilson. Gonna do a bunch of testing on neck, controlling neck tension, basically measuring spring back for annealed brass versus non-annealed. Okay, cool. Well, there you go. Look at that. Reloading Quest is all over it, so we don't even have to test it because he's gonna do it for us. So y'all go check out. He just ordered some expanding mandrels, so should have some content in the near future. What's going on, John? I'm not a reloader. Y'all mind if I ask a dumb question? I mean, sure. Hang on, because I see you just asked that question, but let me get caught up here. 18 wheels. I do the first one till the color starts to change, then count same. Okay, and then the same amount of seconds for, I got it. You got 18, I'm assuming 18 firings, not fittings. 18 firings on SIG. Hey, SIG brass, I'm telling you, I think a lot of people sleep on SIG brass, and I don't know why, because it is some really, really nice stuff. I highly recommend you use SIG brass. It's really good stuff, high quality. FYI, from a rolling mill perspective, all metals goes to annealing afterwards. All right, so John's question, is there any savings buying brass, powder, bullets, primers, and making your own versus buying factory new? Oh man, this is such a, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. In my opinion, it depends on what you want to do, right? What is the desired end result? Because if you talk to an avid reloader, typically we'll say, yeah, there's some savings benefits, there's something to it. Now, if you're just wanting to go, in my opinion, if you just want to shoot 9mm, right? I mean, yeah, you could buy a progressive setup, but at what you can buy factory and, reloaded 9mm nowadays, you can just stock up on thousands of rounds. If you just want to do that and call it a day, that's fine too. But what I always tell people, because I get asked this question all the time, especially from guys at work, for me, I don't save any money. I waste money. I spend money. I lose money. It's a trust me, I don't save a dime reloading, but that's because I started the hobby and I absolutely fell in love with the hobby, and I just love to mess around with different bullet powder combinations. I end up going and buying guns just to load for them, which is because it's a different cartridge that I don't have. Like, I've done that I don't know how many times in the past. So for me, zero savings whatsoever. But it really does depend on how much you shoot, how much you plan to shoot. Maybe you have a cartridge like a 3378 Weatherby mag, right? And you'd like to shoot it more than you currently do, because factory ammunition, if you buy the Weatherby premium select stuff, it's like $150 a box of 20, right? It just depends. You can definitely save money, but I'll caveat that with, it just depends on your approach or what you're trying to accomplish. So, because you do have that initial investment of equipment, powder, bullets, the whole night. You got to get everything up front. You have to assemble everything that you need to then go make the ammunition. Now, you can get into it. We've talked about this, I think, on the last live stream. You can get into the reloading hobby very cheap. Lee Precision, sometimes they get knocked because they're very budget oriented, but it gets you into the hobby extremely cheap, right? Relatively speaking. So it, that would be and that was my recommendation to, I believe, somebody on the last live stream that was asking about it. Start off with something cheap to see if you're even going to enjoy it, if you're going to like it. And if you do, then you can go hog wild. You can sell that equipment, get a little bit of your money back, then dump it into a bunch of, a lot more expensive stuff. But yeah, you can go watch videos like Ultimate Reloader. John Ultimate Reloader on YouTube just did a cost comparison video, kind of like an updated cost comparison for 2024, because I think he had done it in the past, but it was several years ago when he did that analysis. And so he actually revamped it and sort of reran the numbers with like today's cost and stuff. So I would recommend you go check out that video. Yeah, just it's Ultimate Reloader. He puts out a ton of good stuff on YouTube, so go watch that. Do you only save and reloading used cartridges? Yeah, just it again, it all depends on what are you trying to accomplish, right? Like if you want to go be a competitive shooter, you're gonna have to reload, right? The factory ammunition has come a long way, but I would dare say that if you wanted to compete at a high level and be successful, then you're gonna end up having to reload. So I would think. I can tell you from short experience, there is short-term and long-term spring-back effect. Oh, okay, Harvey, you're talking about the neck tension. Got it. Jeff, the second firing should be even more consistent. Yep, should be. Harvey said, reloading quest, please let us know how your experience goes from once fired and 3 to 4 times fire without annealing. Yeah. Reloading quest. I don't reload to save money. Oh, no kidding, brother. You and me both. I spend way more hand loading than if I, yeah, exactly. And I think that's what a lot of hand loaders, you can lump us into that same bucket of people who like to tweak things, refine things, mess around with, well, I wonder if I could wring out a little bit more, accuracy, precision, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, I think you could probably lump us into the same category, quite a bit of us. We probably fall into the majority of people that hand load just because it's fun and you enjoy doing it and you're able to tailor a load to your specific rifle or application, right? So that's what's nice. And you can load the load you want, not what the factory sells. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you buy factory ammunition, that's just it, right? It's, you kind of, that's the hand you're dealt. So you're able to tailor make something for your application. It's just nice to be able to do that. And one of the things that's really nice too, talking with some of the guys I work with, right? Because they mostly got interested in it once this whole COVID thing hit and the supply crunch happened and all that. Well, what was really nice was I never stopped shooting the whole time. Like, you guys can go back and look. Like, I've literally made videos from 2018, I think is when I first started, until now. I've consistently put out some type of content, related to reloading and shooting. And I did the same thing through COVID. Hey, couldn't find powder, couldn't find primers, couldn't find whatever, right? Well, I noticed because the stuff wasn't sitting on the shelf, but it didn't really impact me that much. I mean, I was still working up loads for other people, still going and shooting, still going to the range and burning through ammo and burning through primers, and powder and bullets. Like, it's just because I had already accumulated so much of stuff, so much reloading stuff, that it allowed me to continue to shoot how I wanted to shoot and test what I wanted to test. And so it affords you that freedom, right? If you have the ability to load your own, then you can do it. Sometimes when you can't get the ammunition that you want, you can just go make it. So that was kind of the big selling point for a couple of the guys that I work with. They were like, well, I'm not really going to shoot that much. I don't go to the range a whole lot already. They were like, but after living through that COVID deal, they were like, I'm going to at least have the equipment and I'm going to get, just kind of the basics, powder, bullets, primers, just enough to where they can load their own hunting ammunition if they need to, right? So I think there's a component of that in there as well that you at least need to take into account, because it is nice to just be self-sufficient when it comes to that. Jeff said reloading is a rabbit hole if you enjoy it. It's not even a rabbit hole. It's like I don't even know how you would describe it. A rabbit hole is an understatement. What it is. Okay, so I saw a video about this today. It's exactly like when those people go and they pour. You see them pour like the hot molten aluminum in an ant bed or something in the ground, and then you pull that. Once it's cooled off, they pull that thing out of the ground or whatever, and it's just like stuff going everywhere. That's exactly what reloading is like. There's no one, this is the path, this is the way. It's not like Jesus Christ, right? He is the way, the truth, and the life. That's it. Nobody comes through the Father except through him. That he is the way. There is one way to get to heaven. That's through him. Reloading's not like that. There are about 1 million different ways that are going to get you to a halfway decent result on the target. So there's some general things you need to follow, kind of just some generally accepted norms, but for the most part, yeah, you can go load some ammo on a cheap press, never clean your brass, and shoot nice tight groups, because I've done it. Did it for a long time. Just recently started cleaning my brass. So reloading quest, I tend to get more brass life out of my brass and seating force. Yeah, not only brass is easier to trim and it's softer. Yeah, so that's the other side of it too, is so you get, because one of the benefits, or at least that I'm aware of annealing, at least a benefit that's consistently spoken about, is better extreme spread and standard deviation in terms of your velocities. I know I hear people talk about that as a benefit of annealing, but that probably comes back to more consistency in neck tension, maybe, or the softness of the neck, if it's more uniform, I guess, because it does get work hardened, I'm assuming, over time. The more you size it, more you size it down, shoot it, size it down, shoot it, So there's definitely benefits to it for sure. 100%. I've just got to figure out a way to anneal that satisfies my issue with the inconsistency of the way that I could probably afford to anneal, right? Because it'd be a propane torch. And like somebody said, it'd be a propane torch and a socket, a spark plug socket holding the brass. So I just got to figure out a way to make that as consistent as possible and repeatable. I'll feel a little bit better about it, at least. I appreciate it, Reloading Quest. Hey, everyone, hit that like button. Yeah. If there is I don't know if there's a dislike button, but if there is, you can hit that one too. That's fine as well. That's accepted. Mark, what's going on, Mark? Great testimony. Oh yeah, hey, there's only one way. Harvey, reloading for a person with ADHD is a dream come true. I would imagine it allows you to narrow your focus, right, and gives you something to really hone in on. So unless you're trying to film yourself, which I've done in the past, I've tried to film myself like going through the process of reloading and trying to talk to the camera and explain what I'm doing and then trying to remember what I just did. Oh, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. I've tried it. So that's why you guys don't see a lot of like me filming the actual loading process, or if I'm like dumping powder or whatever, because half the time I forget what I'm talking about, or I get sidetracked, I forget where I'm at, well, yada yada yada. So it can be a little difficult to multitask. John, I'm 55, only got in firearms a few years ago, been watching thousands of videos, learned a lot and more all the time. Oh man, yeah, tell me about it. John, so yeah, that's something. And what's nice too, well, it just, for me, I don't know, I love reloading. Like my brother got me into it back in 2015, And of course, my wife probably hates him for it. But yeah, at the time I had just gotten divorced. You know, we have the custody set up with my daughter, so so we have week on, week off. So I have her for a week, and then she goes to my ex for a week. So we do it that way. Well, man, I needed something to fill that time, right? Because you're still a parent 100% of the time, but it's just way different when you go through that type of life change. And so, man, he turned me on to reloading, and it was like, for me, I was all in, right? The very first time I sat down, I bought a Lee Precision super cheap, like $120 kit off Amazon. It basically almost came with everything you needed to get started. And I was loading 223. I just grabbed some bullets, some powder that was in the manual, and some brass. I think I went and bought Starline brass. I loaded up the first few rounds, and I was like, holy smokes, it's this easy? I was literally blown away the first time I loaded with just how incredibly simple it is to actually assemble ammunition. I didn't say good, high quality ammunition. I'm just saying assemble something that will go bang, right? And when I did that, I was like, holy cow, I can get into this. And so from then it's turned into a monster, which is now I've got a YouTube channel dedicated to it, right? So, but yeah, John, I mean, you know, having the ability to load your own ammo is really, really nice. So, David said no. No means no, David. You can take your case trimmer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. I see what you're saying. You can take the case trimmer. So kind of like the Lee, the lock stud or whatever brand you have that holds the case. And like you chuck it up into a drill, you can use that to anneal. Okay. Yep. Harvey said hyper focus all day and night. There you go. Oh, Ed, what's going on, brother? I love how you just put Jesus in this. He's in everything. So, I mean, all of us are breathing, typing words on a little screen. Trust me, we wouldn't be breathing if God didn't want us to breathe right this moment. We're blessed to be here, that's for sure. Jeff, I started reloading in the master bedroom, been married 33 years. Nice. Well, see, that was the thing. My setup was in my kitchen because I was in a little small two bedroom, like tiny apartment when I started reloading. So you come in the door and you turn right in the kitchen was a little small that was my reloading setup at the time. And then I moved out of there to another place, but my reloading setup was you go back and watch some of my older videos and you see that big honking reloading desk or reloading table that I have now that I use. That was set up in my kitchen at my other place too. So yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting. Did you come up with a name for the Remesa yet? No, but the Remesa is kind of growing on me. You know what I'm saying? Like the Remesa, that's kind of catchy. I kind of like that. I have not come up with I have not come up with a name for that rifle. I wanted so badly to go back to the range today just because of how the conditions are. It's overcast. It's like the high today was maybe 70, 72 degrees. It would have been a perfect day to go. But I couldn't make it out with everything I had going on at work. I couldn't make it out to the range. So I was really wanting to get back out there and shoot the rest of that factory ammunition just to see, because that 5-shot group was really nice. So I just want to see if I can follow that up with, see how the last 10 shoot. But Adam said yes, amen. Yes and amen. That's right. Do you own a 300 black rifle? 300 blackout. I have a Remington 700 bolt action chambered in 300 blackout that I'm looking to rebarrel to something else. Hopefully we'll successfully remove the barrel so I can send it to Reloading Quest. That's the plan. Oh, reloading. So reloading Weatherby's in the house. Hey, if you guys want to go see probably one of the most insanely nice rifles I've ever seen, you got to go watch Reloading Weatherby. He has a Weatherby Mark V Deluxe chambered in, I think it's 340 Weatherby mag. That once I saw that, now you're making me want a Mark V Deluxe. So shame on you for that. I haven't had it chambered yet because all of my barrel budget went out the window when I went to Ohio and met up with Derek McMurray and bought the barrel from him. And then on top of that, I blew the rest of the budget on a bunch of reloading stuff up in Ohio at an outdoor store. So I got to wait and let the build budget work its way back up. So once I do that, it is going to get chambered. I've made the decision. It's going to be 280 Ackley improved. That's going to be the 7mm project. So, and right now, I'm actually thinking about talking with Derek. He's got me convinced basically to go the route of just use a Tikka, right? Go get, either use the one I have, because I've got one chambered in 270 Winchester now, but it shoots pretty good. I would kind of hate to tear that thing apart, or just go buy a cheap Tikka, you know, just to have the action and the factory trigger, and take it to the gunsmith. I'm going to use the one he recommended anyway. It's local, and go there and have him tear it apart and put that barrel on there. But it will be 280 Ackley improved. So that decision has been made. Kind of strung you guys along a little bit on that one, but yeah, pretty much made that decision. 18 wheels, the deep well socket, I'm assuming is what you're saying, will help protect the body of the case. You don't want the body to get hot. Yeah, I've heard that too, where I think Ultimate Reloader just did a video on the new amp annealer, and he was talking about that, where you really want to be careful with where that heat is in relation to the body versus the neck and the mouth of the case, right? So the neck and shoulder portion. John's got another question. What's your take? So some of you guys can chime in if you haven't already. John says, another question, if I may, what's your take on bullet weight related to twist rate? So it's not just bullet weight that you have to take into consideration, but it's the length of the bullet. So that's what's going to get you in trouble more so than the weight of the bullet. It's going to be length. So that's why you see a lot of stuff, especially like solid copper or monolithic bullets. Sometimes you have to, depending on, like, you can go and maybe it's 180 grain, you know, maybe it's a 180 grain bullet for 308. You want to go shoot just a standard cup and core, Remington core lock, 180 grain bullet, no problem. 1 in 10, 1 in 11 twists, shoot them all day long. I'm just being theoretical here because I don't know this for a fact. But then you switch over and you go shoot like a 180 grain monolithic bullet, solid copper, 180 grain Barnes or something like that. Well, there might be a twist rate. That guy's cool. He's got his Mustang with his loud pipes. Yeah. There might be, you know, you see those limitations where it's like, hey, 1 in 9 twist or whatever. Not saying that's the case, but you know what I mean, right? That's something that, because the bullet length is more of an issue than the bullet weight. So that's where your stability will become a problem. When you start shooting those monolithic long bullets, long for caliber, right? That's when it can kind of bite you a little bit. Which I know, I'm almost positive Berger has a bullet stability calculator on their website. So go to Berger Bullets, I think it's bergerbullets.com, and somewhere on their website they have a bullet stability calculator. So you can go check that out. That's pretty cool. C clamps to the table. Every barrel, even from the same factory, varies loading in the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's, so to touch on what Adam's saying, I mean, that's the thing. Every barrel is unique. It's its own individual barrel. I don't care if they make serial number 1 and then serial number 2, and they're made 5 seconds after each other. Both of those barrels are completely different in how they're going to shoot. Now, they might shoot very similar, but they are their own individual self. right? That's just how barrels are. Again, that falls in the art of witchcraft, just like annealing, you know, that type of stuff. That's black magic stuff in reloading. You got a rifle. Oh, what's going on here? My video froze. Oh, okay. Says I'm still live, so you guys drop a message if you can still hear me. I don't know if you can see me because my video. Let me try something. Okay. Showing that I'm okay. All right. Wow. Okay, now we're back. Oh man, my video hung up for some reason. That hadn't happened before. Reloading quest. I got a rifle just for the 300 black barrel. Oh man, now the pressure's on. We better not screw up that barrel. Jeff Wilson. Hope he goes reloading Weatherby. I hope he goes 280 Ackley and converts 30-06 to 280. Harvey's a big fan of 280. You're gonna have one soon. Nice. Reloading quest. Heck yeah, 280 Ackley, great round. It is. And that was the thing. Like, looking at it from the standpoint of efficiency in terms of velocity per grain of powder and blah 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 and all this other stuff. Just kind of thinking through it logically. You know, it's one of those things where the 280 was a pretty easy choice when I started looking at kind of some of the other options I was thinking about going with, which I'm still a massive fan of 7mm Winchester short mag and the 7 SAUM. I think those two cartridges are dynamite rounds, but for what I want to do, that 280 Ackley is just, it's hard not to choose that. John said he's thinking of getting a Mini 14. I heard I should plan to run 55 grain. Yeah, Adam said no sir, harmonics. Yeah, the harmonics, that's the thing. I mean, it's all, everything all together is just, it's all witchcraft, so including barrel harmonics. John said I live in a commie state, so I'm limited on what the government lets you have. Ugh. That's sad. Yeah, reloading quest. He's kind of in the same boat. Y'all are out there on the left coast, so that's what's great about being in Alabama. Our hunting season is super long and really no restrictions. Just go buy what you want. Yes, I froze. I don't know what the deal was there, but it froze for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. That's never happened before, where literally the video portion froze. So that was weird. 18 wheels, 5x5. What's the 5x5? Okay, Harvey can see in here. Oh, on the stability part, talking about it don't matter the weight of a bullet. It's all about harmonics and different powder types and charge weights. The length of the bullet definitely matters when it comes to stability. If you're trying to stabilize an object, the length is definitely going to play a factor in it. Weight, you can shoot heavy stuff like a 308, 1 in 10. You know, you can shoot heavy stuff. Once you start going long, that's when you start to run into problems. Because it comes into velocity too. Velocity, there's a lot of things that play into it, right? It's not just, oh, this one thing, you know, because that's what I think a lot of people sometimes they focus in on bullet weight. Oh, once I get really heavy, well, I need a faster twist to accommodate for that. Well, it just depends. Again, like magic stuff. What length are you cutting your 280 barrel to? That's a great question. Uh, it's a great question because the barrel. So I got a KP barrel. Yeah, the profile design is not weight, correct. The barrel that I got is I think it's called a KP barrel or KMP barrel. I don't know. I think they're based out of Idaho, I believe. Is it Idaho? Somewhere in the U.S. They make barrels, and I got the barrel from Derek. He's used those guys in the past. He's bought several barrels from them, had several rifles, you know, made with those barrels. Great shooters, never had a problem. So I went with that one mostly because because he already had it literally in his hand, and I could just buy it from him right then, as opposed to having to wait for the barrel. And it was the profile, the contour and everything. The profile of the barrel was what I wanted. More of a thinner profile to be more of a hunting configuration. I think it is Idaho. I believe it is. Now that you say Montana, now I'm questioning myself on that one, but I thought it was Idaho. So talking with him, that the blank, he said, could probably, if the gunsmith really tried, could cut it to 25, but more than likely it'd be a 24. So yeah, it'd more than likely be a 24-inch barrel. Jeff said there's a gray area between twist rate, velocity, bullet weight per caliber. CW, there he is. Oh, let's see. Dark Knight asked a question. I didn't see it. I got a 338 Lapua. Got to make sure you pronounce it correctly. What's a good scope? I'm assuming you mean scope to install on that one. Hopefully you didn't buy that to just go shoot 100 yards all the time. I'm assuming you want to shoot long range. I've owned a 338 before, and I put an Athlon Midas TAC. This was the first gen. I believe it was a 6-24 by 50. First focal plane scope. That's what I had on mine, and that was, you're gonna want to stretch that thing out and shoot long range. So you want, something first focal plane. You can do second focal plane if you wanted to. I would imagine something with some beefed up magnification, probably a 34 mil tube. You could do an Arken optic. Arken would be a good choice to go with. I know a lot of people, you're seeing these YouTubers put out videos on Discovery optics. Those have kind of hit the scene, and it seems like they're getting them out to a lot of the YouTubers. I'm seeing a ton of videos on Discovery optics and just how good they are. If I think like Arken, more on the budget side, those scopes for what they are, and man, those are going to be hard to beat for the money. The Arken, I would highly recommend those. Husqvarna, it's like however you spell it. I think it's got a W in there somewhere. Those scopes are really nice. Yeah, it just, it really depends on your budget, right? I mean, those Arken, I've had, I think, 2 or 3 of those now, and for the money, those things are really, really nice. Any experience on, so Jay Peterson asked, any experience on 450 Bushmaster? A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I actually did load 450 Bushmaster for a little while. I had the Ruger American Ranch rifle, the little short, lightweight one. I had that in 450 Bushmaster. I did load for it for a little bit using the 160. Is it the 265? 225? I can't even remember the grain weight now. It's like the FTX bullet that Hornady makes, polymer tip. Might be the 250. I think it might even be the 250. I loaded those up, and those actually shot pretty well. I just can't remember all the details, powder bullet combination. I did some videos on it a long time ago, and those are terrible videos, by the way. If you want to go watch some really bad reloading YouTube content, go back and watch a lot of my old videos and even some of my new videos, because they're not that great. But you can go watch my stuff on 450 Bushmaster. I got rid of that gun though, because man, it kicked the snot out of you. Like, that thing would thump you big time. So ended up getting rid of it. I do like that round though, but I'm a much bigger fan of 350 Legend than I am 450 Bushmaster. So, oh, 8.5 twist. Sorry, got it. Thank you. 8.5 twist, cut to 26, going on a Ruger. Oh, nice. Can't wait to see how you do. Yeah, mine's a 9 twist, which everything that I'm wanting to shoot, the bullets and everything that I've already been researching and I actually already have on hand, that this rifle is kind of designed, it's going to be designed for a few different bullets. The 1 in 9 should be more than plenty capable for my stuff. Dark Knight said, thank you, I'll try it. Jay Peterson, fighting with 230 grain berries. Running Fiocchi or Fiocchi, however you want to pronounce that, small rifle. Huh. But won't ignite properly. That's weird. CW says, I avoid the Discovery unless you buy a really high-end one. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Adam Long, I run BSA, and what are ZOS scopes? I have run plenty of BSA stuff in the past. Jay Peterson, same rifle I have along with new AR-556. Okay, CW's helping me out. They make a FTX 200, 225, 250, and 300. Okay, I think it's the 250. I'm almost positive it was the 250, thinking back now. I'm seeing bad ignition, Jay Pearson. I'm seeing bad ignition running both CCIs, Federal, Fiocchi, and Mad. I don't remember ever having ignition problems. That doesn't ring a bell to me. I mean, it's literally been a handful of years. Like, it was I was probably loading that cartridge, oh, I don't know, 2018. I think I started making videos in 2018, and that was when I was loading for and making videos on. And I don't ever remember having ignition problems. But again, I cannot remember any of the combinations or the primers I was using. I can't think of it now. I've got it written down somewhere, and I can go back and look. And if you want to, you can definitely shoot me a message on Instagram, and I can try to remember to get back to you. But or just jump back into another live stream or comment on a video or something, and maybe that'll jog my memory, and I can actually look when I get home. Okay, Adam, unless you're buying Zeiss or Husqvarna scopes, everything else is made in China. Yeah, the vast majority of stuff. I started to film a scope video. I ended up deleting it because I was like, you know what, this really ain't gonna benefit anybody, and I was rambling on way too long. I didn't like the video and overall, so I just deleted it. I'll probably redo it, but it's for the Hawk scope that I just picked up, the 2.5 to 10 by 50. I'm a big fan of Hawk scopes for the money, again, for what you get. They're based out of England, but they're made in China, which is, that's a ton of optics. And I even mentioned that in the video. Unless you want to go buy, a Schmidt & Bender, a Zero Compromise, some stuff made in Japan, right? Unless you want to go that route, you start adding some cost. Now that is one thing about like Arkin Optics. They do, again, they're still very competitively priced, almost budget oriented, some would say, for the features that they offer, and made in Japan, right? I think they have a made in Japan or a Japanese glass version that they came out with that's still priced really, really well. So you could do that. Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, you want to go Night Force, or you want to go Swarovski, Steiner, Valdata. You want to go all the high-end stuff. That's when you're talking about tier 1 glass, premium. What was it? Schatz glass from Germany or whatever. Nothing wrong with Chinese scopes. Nope. Not unless you're a die-hard anti, Chinese manufactured anything. If you view it that way, then you're probably going to have a hard time buying anything. Let's see here. Jay Peterson, I had a 230 grain berries get stuck running H110. Not good. Vortex is made in the same plant as the ZOS. I guarantee you, almost, I would say probably the vast majority of scopes that are made in China are probably made in the exact same place. They're all made in the same plant. All it is a different brand name, and they're just spec'd differently, right? All it is, hey, Vortex says put the Vortex logo on there, and then our quality control is going to be much tighter, and our tolerances are much tighter, blah blah blah. That's the only differentiating factor, right? Like, hey, this is the spec, this is our specification for our glass quality and everything, and so on and so forth. And then other more budget oriented scopes, obviously they maybe don't put as much emphasis on that, but they're all made in the same place. But there are a lot of Japanese weavers still killing deer. Oh yeah, probably a lot of weavers that were made in, weren't those made in Texas way back when? Jeff's got a Vortex razor. Yeah, those are really nice. Track makes a really, Track, T-R-A-C-T, Tracked Optics. They make really good scopes. Stand by. ZOS is private labeled. I'm assuming you're answering the question that I'd asked earlier. But yeah, Track makes a good scope. Zerotech. Zerotech makes a pretty good optic as well. I haven't owned any of their scopes. I think it's ZERO, zero, like the number, Tech, TECH, maybe. A buddy of mine, I worked up a load for him as a 6.5 PRC project, and he had that scope. He had the Thrive. I think it's the Zerotech Thrive HD. It might have been like a 6-24. He had that on his. He had that on that rifle, and that was a really nice. That was a really nice optic. So I wouldn't hesitate to buy from them, in my limited experience, right, of handling that firearm and taking it to the range, working up a load. Seemed like a really good optic. But that's the thing though. There's so many good options out there now. It's kind of hard to go wrong. I mean, to be honest with you. Now you can definitely buy, if you start to really scrape the bottom of the barrel and you try to spend the least amount of money possible, Blackhound. Yeah, oh look at that. Forgot about Blackhound optics, right? Even those guys. That's what I'm saying. There's Primary Arms, right? I mean, there's so many good options now that you'd be hard pressed to get a terrible optic nowadays. But like I said, if you're just trying to spend the absolute cheapest amount possible and you go and spend 50 bucks on a scope, you know, if it doesn't hold up, it's kind of like, what do you expect, right? Justin said howdy. What's going on? But yeah, I completely forgot about Blackhound. I haven't really seen much out of those guys lately. I'm gonna save a ton of money shooting by a Mantis system. I don't know what that is, but that's probably, is that one of those dry fire training system laser training things or something? Seems like what that might be. Yep, okay. Yeah, I see some of those advertised quite a bit, and it's a great way to get a lot of practice in without going to the range. I mean, that's, you know, great way to become more proficient at handling the firearm for sure. If you spend 500, oh yeah, oh no kidding. If you spend 500 bucks now, like that's, you, I highly recommend you do some shopping. If you're planning on spending 500 bucks, definitely do a lot of shopping around, do a lot of comparison. There's a million videos on YouTube now for all these different scopes and the different models and everything they got going on. So there's no shortage of information on a lot of these optics. Now, again, you got to take some of this with a grain of salt because there's a ton of videos on YouTube where the scopes are sent to the people, right? Hey, do a review on this scope, and they're supposed to disclose that up front. Hey, so and so sent me this optic. If I do a review on something, I bought it. So a little more skin in the game when you have, you know, you actually spend your money on whatever that piece of equipment is and do a review on it. So, but yeah, there's no shortage of information on scopes, you know, 500 and less. You could definitely come away with a winner from just about basically all the brands we mentioned. Okay, so that Mantis system goes on your Picatinny rail, tells you everything you're doing, twisting, up, down, trigger pull, etc. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's like you're having a professional instructor critiquing every microscopic, or I guess every single move maybe, that you make shooting. That's pretty neat. That's actually really cool. So then, is that more geared toward people that run like ARs? I'm assuming. Sounds like it is, at least if you put it on a pick rail, which you could put a pick rail on a bolt gun, but I would think it just seems like it'd be more geared toward if you want to go John Wick running around LARPing like a Navy SEAL. But yeah, that Hawk. So I probably will do another video. So kind of give you guys some context on the video I deleted. I ended up, I was trying to do a comparison between the Hawk. I think it's the Hawk Vantage 30 2.5 to 10 by 50 versus the scope I already had, which was the Conus Pro LZ 30 2.5 to 10 by 50. That was the scope that was on my 270 Winchester. Well, I swapped it out for the Hawk, mostly because of the reticle, and there's a couple of reasons why. But in terms of a hunting situation and a hunting setup, I prefer the Hawk Vantage because it has capped turrets. They're low profile and they're capped, which is really nice. That's what I prefer for a hunting rig, which is what I do. I don't compete. I just hunt. So. Oh, okay. So they've got a couple different systems. Cyclops Joe, Jeff said Cyclops Joe on YouTube, scope reviews. He does a lot, yes. He does a lot of scope reviews. Also Backfire, if you go and watch go and watch Jim over on Backfire. He has done a few videos on scope reviews, and he actually, I mean, he did some. I felt like he did some pretty good stuff in terms of, you know, how he treated the scopes, and he threw them in a pool and let them just sit in a pool, like literally a swimming pool. Just threw the scopes in the swimming pool and see which one would pass, you know, the waterproof and all that fun stuff. So go check those out. They do have an AR system. Reloading Quest, yeah, it is. Just not as fun because it's not actually shooting. Yeah, there you go. Something to be said for that smell of smokeless powder when it goes off. A lot of tactical people run those systems and then get out and shoot and can't. Seen it many times. Oh, you mean there's a thing as bullet drop? Yeah, so that's the, I guess that's probably the main thing you have to say with that, like going and doing dry fire training and utilizing those training systems that are out there. Those are awesome, but part of it does, you know, part of that training still has to be getting out and physically shooting, right? You still have to physically get out and go do the thing, right? Adam said Cyclops Joe been doing a ton of shooting with the 22s. Yeah, he's done a lot lately, and I think he got a Zeiss scope. I think it's a Zeiss Conquest that he had put on a 22 that he was really liking. So, and those Conquests, you can typically catch those on sale. I think you can find them on sale for as cheap as, like, you know, maybe less than $700 sometimes. That's a really good price for that optic. Point click, insta hit. There you go. Yeah, the smell, right? It's the whole experience, right? It's all about having that experience. At least that's what some people say. Can you smell that smell? I know. Hey, Leonard Skinnard, man. There's a documentary on those guys. I don't know if it's still, I think it was on Netflix. And they've probably taken it off by now. But if you can find it, you need to watch it. Oh, what a great documentary. Yes, but your basics are still your basics no matter what those systems do. Helped a ton. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. Well, and one thing too, you know, it does. It's a lot of it comes down to muscle memory, mind muscle connection, right? Like just being more comfortable manipulating the weapon or whatever it is, right? It makes a big difference. Just practice in general. A lot of dry fire practice, that type of stuff. You know, or if you're wanting to run around and do the, you know, you got your drop leg holster and you're wanting to run around and got your shotgun to breach doors and all that fun stuff, and you want to be that guy, then, you know, you definitely need to practice doing all that stuff. You need to practice drawing from a holster, right? You need to, there's a lot of stuff that comes into it. Oh boy, I haven't had any coffee since I don't know what time this morning. So I normally have an afternoon coffee. It's 17:57 now, and I don't have any coffee with me, which is sad. Tryouts are going pretty good though. Or Eric Cortina, 18 Wheel, said Eric Cortina has a video trying to ruin brass by kneeling. Go watch that. It will ease your mind about being perfect every time. I think I've watched that. Because that video, it showed, like, I mean, you had to really mess it up, right? Like, you had to really, really screw the thing up before there was a problem, if I remember right. I try to watch a lot of his stuff, even though I'm not a competitive shooter, right? It's somewhat apples and oranges when you're talking just the cost of one of his guns right? Like he's shooting custom everything with the best of everything. Like that's not me, and it won't be me, but it's really really good information that he puts out. So him, F Class John, all those guys, it's really good information. You can learn a lot. Adam, have any of you tried running a shaft call? Shaft call it? Call it. No, you're talking about what is that guy's YouTube channel? Oh, he bought them off Amazon. There's a guy on YouTube. I cannot think of his name for the life of me now. But he bought just a couple of, yeah, just like aluminum or stainless something collets that you could just tighten down to the barrel. And he did that and was showing the, you know, the effects that it has on the group size. So his worked out because he was running like, what was it, like an inch and a quarter barrel or something, or a 1 inch barrel, bull barrel. And so he just bought some of those off Amazon, was able to tighten them down and good to go. But yeah, it did anything. You put anything on the barrel, it messes with the harmonics. 18 wheels, right, but annealing does good things, but it's hard to screw it up. Okay, good. What state are you from? I feel like that's a trick question. See you later, Reloading Quest. I appreciate you joining, man. I really do. Y'all go to the YouTube channel. So, good talking to you, buddy. Videos on the lumps. Yeah, he had a bunch of different barrel weights that he added to the end. Different sizes, different weights, different everything. Yep. It works. Yep, it does. It does work. And the same thing is like hanging the magneto speed off the end of your barrel, right? Checking velocity. Messes with harmonics, putting a suppressor on. Changing anything, adding anything to your barrel will impact the harmonics. Same thing with like, hey, it's a Ruger M77 that's designed to not have a free floated barrel, and then you figure out a way to float the barrel. Well, you just changed everything, right? So that was, something similar to, CW told me. Let's see, I was working up a load for one of those New England Firearms handy rifles, the break open rifles that are single shot. And I was working on a 280 Remington for my dad in that rifle, and that thing was a pain in the butt to load for because it's got the fore end is attached straight to the barrel, and it is just an absolute. The ones I've loaded for, they're never good shooters. Like you really have to work to try to get them to shoot worth a flip. And CW was like, hey, you can add a spacer where that fore end attaches to the barrel. You can basically add a spacer down in there and shim it pretty much and get that barrel to stand proud a little bit off that fore end, and you'll pretty much float the barrel part, right? That's what I did, and I did a video on it. It was crazy, the change in how that gun shot after I did that. So harmonics, like I said, black magic. That's what it is. Limb Saver makes a rubber donut called the D-Resonator. $10. Try it. Oh yeah, you did it on both your rifles. You have one of those Limb Savers on your 7 mag. Yeah, I mean that stuff works. I think they still got about 30 minutes for tryouts. John, you ever watch Gun Blue 490, retired gunsmith, military old? Oh, I love Gun Blue 490. Love his videos. Man, he puts out some really good stuff. Stand by. And we're back. Had to send a text message. What's going on, Michael? Adam, I have to spend half my time at the gun range. Explain what that is on my gun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. When you start adding stuff like that, you know, to your barrel or whatever, yeah, it tends to pique people's interest. They're like, what's that on your barrel? Yeah, and you got to explain it. And then good luck explaining barrel harmonics. Yeah, Jeff said H&R are different than Thompson Encore fitment. Yep, agree, and cost. Way different. I appreciate you, John. Appreciate each and every one of you. Even the guy, like, so it was so funny. I got a notification about a comment on the video that I just did about doing the barrel swap update, you know, and it's literally the video, not the one I posted today, because I posted a video earlier today, but the one that I think I posted on Friday, maybe. And it was so funny because this guy, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't like himself. I really don't know, but he seemed a little upset. And he was dropping, he dropped some choice language there in the comment section. And I'm just like, man, he was fired up about the fact that I spun that 243 barrel off and put the 6.5 barrel on there, and that, you know, the 243 could have shot just as good as that 6.5 if I actually knew what I was doing. That was his almost verbatim comment, but I'm just not going to add in the word that he added in. And I just laughed. You know, I gave it a thumbs up, and I liked the message because it cracks me up. Or I like the comment. It's just funny. It's like, dude, I didn't do it because the 243 was shooting bad. I just did it because I wanted to. What difference does it make? Who cares? It was funny. That guy, oh man, he was worked up. Just like tuning a guitar. There you go. Yeah, H&R wasn't designed for a barrel swap, but TC was. Okay, you got to go pick up your grandsons. All right, well then, adios, John. Hey, it was good talking to you, brother. Have a good one. Hopefully you'll get into reloading. Uh, 18 Wheel said you caught me. It's not his gun. Well, that was the thing. I was just like, and I did a video about the 243. That 243 shot pretty dang good. I killed a deer with it. You know, it was so funny when I read that, and I'm just like, I don't know, maybe intent. I never said the 243 shot bad. That was never even in the conversation as to why I swapped the barrel out. It was simply, I found the barrel online. Again, it was more of just let's just try it and see what happens. That's really all it was. Hey, I found the barrel. It's supposed to fit a Remington 700 action. That's what this is. Well, let's thread this barrel off, see if this one threads on in headspaces. And if it does, that's incredible. If it doesn't, we'll go figure something out and then see how it shoots. That was it. So, I don't know. Some people get a little worked up, though. Thompson won't hold pressure that a bolt action will. Had a guy the other day comment that I talk too much. I thanked him, bless his soul. Well, yeah, that's my thing. Well, and two, what's funny, what always cracks me up is, I ramble a ton, but typically, you get pretty much what I'm thinking or my thoughts on something, because it's very hard to, unless you want to be like a professional YouTuber and have the polished and edited videos, and I ain't nobody got time for that. I don't do that. I film it with my phone and I upload it. The only editing I do to my videos is where I piece video clips together. Like I'll film, if I need to, I'll film something, and then say I want to go to the range and I want to film the results and do it all in one video. I literally just splice it together with iMovie. I don't even change it. I just add the video to it and I'm done. So if you want to, if you want YouTube to be your thing and your career path, then sure, you probably want to figure out a better way to be succinct, concise, to the point, tell somebody what they want to hear or what they need to know, move on, done, get ready for the next professional video upload. But you ain't getting that with me. You are going to get a lot of rambling, because at the same time, you do have to kind of, explain, or at least I try to explain the thought process behind something, right? Or provide some level of context. My grandma killed more deer than most men. 243. Yeah, 243 that's a great whitetail cartridge. I killed a doe this season. A shot was probably maybe 100 yards at the most. Yeah, something like that. Killed her with an 85 grain Nosler partition that I had worked up. That load. That was pretty nice. Excuse me. You learn by talking, but the learning part comes when you listen. Jeff, I wish you had went heavy for caliber in 240. Oh yeah, I know. I know. That was actually on my list of things to do, was to go heavy on the 243 side, because it was 1-in-8 twist, so I could have shot those heavier, longer 6mm bullets, but I ended up not doing it. All right, what's your question? Smith & Wesson 8-inch revolver. I don't do wheel guns, so I don't have much experience on those. I'm sure somebody in the comment section knows a lot more about it than I do. I'm more of a bolt action guy. That's what I really have gravitated to over the years. I don't get into them much. It's just not my thing. I know they are expensive. I know you're paying for a name. I do know that much. But they make a really good one, from what I can tell. Now, I have had their 500, their Smith & Wesson 500. I've had that before. 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. That is a beast of a revolver to shoot. So it's one of the few gun regrets I have. I ended up getting rid of it. Kind of wish I still held on to it. Not for any practical reason whatsoever. You change the game going heavy for caliber in 243. Oh, I bet. What caliber revolver are you looking at, and got what purpose? Okay, 18 wheels. I think he's asking you that question. Harvey said you made a grown man cry over a 243. How about that? Well, I mean, that was a nice, that's a really nice looking 243. I mean, it's a rim arm 700 CDL, nice American walnut stock, really kind of classic hunting rifle, and we ripped that thing to pieces, tore it apart. I got pipe wrench, marks in the barrel now, so it's good stuff. But I am thinking about what I can do to. I did try to put it back once I put the 6.5 barrel on there and it headspace properly. I did try to put it in that wood stock. The inletting won't let me do it, or the barrel channel is just not quite wide enough. So that part up near the chamber part, and so because of that, I couldn't get it to drop in. So I'm thinking about doing a little sanding work on that wood stock. Try to open it up a little bit and see if we can't get it to drop in. Because if we can, I might just swap it back and put it in that. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But man, that 6.5 Creedmoor was shooting pretty doggone good for just threading the barrel on there, torquing it to spec, and the thing actually headspace properly, and then go and throw, the factory ammo shot. It shot that one really good 5-shot group after I shot the 5 to foul in the barrel, and then to shoot, a couple of loads that I had shot in the past that worked well for other guns. To shoot 10-shot groups that shot as well as they did, I was really, really pleased with how that worked out. Very inquisitive. Almost too inquisitive. Probably the FBI agent that's tapped to follow me. It's probably his code name, his alias. I'm sure we're all on a list somewhere. Oh man. Oh, I think they're doing a scrimmage now. Should be finishing up. I tell you what though, dinner tonight is going to be Bojangles. I am excited about that. We're going to get some fried chicken. It will still shoot if, oh yeah, it'll it'll still shoot if you change it back. And I can, that's the thing, I can. And that was kind of my thought process. If that 6.5 barrel didn't shoot worth a flip, I was gonna take it right back up there. We were gonna spin that barrel off, put that 243 right back on. Now, yeah, it's got some teeth marks in the barrel, but oh well, it'll shoot fine. So that was really my plan. Adam, I shoot 140 grain in your Grendel. Nice. So I loaded up. When I was talking about earlier, part of my barrel budget or my gun build budget, I blew it in Ohio. I bought 500. I bought 500 Speer 120 grain gold dots. So I bought 10 boxes of because they had the 120 grain sitting on the shelf. I hadn't seen those on the shelf in a long time. I've got some of the 140s, and I love the Speer gold dot. And I don't even have a 6.5 Grendel, but I bought that bullet specifically to shoot in a 6.5 Grendel because I will own a 6.5 Grendel again one day. So I went ahead and bought 500 of the bullets just because I knew I was going to really want them and shoot them in that 6.5 Grendel. So I love the Grendel though. Really big fan. Me and my brother both. Huge fans. Here we go with the big words. Oh, what big word did I say? I said Bojangles. That's the big word. Uh, 26.5 grains of H335. Yeah, I got that powder too. I really liked, oh, what was I shooting in Grendel? Lord help me. It's been a long time ago when I was loading up that Grendel. Benchmark, maybe? Hodgdon Benchmark? I can't remember, but I've got, well, I plan on shooting the 120s in the Grendel. 120 and 6.5 Creedmoor definitely smoking. What I was really pleased about was that 140 grain Speer impact load that I tested in that Creedmoor, after I did the barrel swap or whatever, and I tested that hunting load that I developed for my Kimber. I mean, that thing, 10 shots, the velocity on it was 2782, I believe was the average. 2782 with a 140 grain bullet and a 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's a 22-inch barrel. Yeah, I think a 22-inch barrel. So not bad at all. I was really pleased to see those numbers. So, and that's with Alliant Power Pro 4000 MR, 44.8 grains. Yep, at 2.825 cartridge overall length. What's going on, Shane? Let's go Rangers. You mean like park rangers? Game wardens? Are you cheering them on? H335 Grendel works. You need to try. If you can get your hands on Shooter's World match rifle powder. That's one JRB. He did some videos on that combination, 6.5 Grendel and Shooter's World match rifle. He was getting really good velocities using that powder. It's a clone of Accurate 2520, and so it supposedly gives really good velocities in 6.5 Grendel. So go check it out if you can find some. I've got like 10 pounds of it, so it gives really good velocities in 308 too. Oh, y'all play nicely in the comments. Oh, hockey. Got you. That's about right. Typically Creedmoor is 400 feet per second faster than Grendel. Yeah, and at the distances I shoot though, like that Grendel is, that's one of the cartridges my brother hunts with quite a bit. I think he's killed hogs, whitetail with that Grendel. It's a great round. Okay, so we got some issues going on with the NHL. I don't keep up with anything or follow anything, to be honest with you. If it ain't on YouTube, I don't watch it. So I've kind of reached that point where I don't watch any streaming services. I mean, we'll have Netflix on from time to time, but all we watch on there are documentaries. We don't watch Netflix shows or movies. We don't stream any sporting events. We don't do any of that. I watch a lot of reloading content on YouTube, hunting videos. I watch a lot of the Hunting Public. I watch a ton of their stuff. They're probably my favorite. I watch the Maine, I think it's called the Maine Outdoor Enthusiast, like the state Maine, M-A-I-N-E. That guy's a great watch. You guys need to go check him out. Big fan of his channel. The Outdoor Generalist, I like his stuff. There's a lot, Hootie Hoo, of course, he goes without saying. Hootie Hoo's a good one. Tack work. Oh yeah, yep. Ramshot tack works really good. I think that's actually what my brother uses. The Snared Life. That's it. So my brother, he has a YouTube channel as well. It's called The Snared Life. He focuses a lot on trapping. So if you're interested in trapping animals and stuff, he does that. He puts out some really cool content too. He uses Ramshot tack in the Grendel. You miss Bojangles' dirty rice. Yeah, well, we're going to be hitting that up tonight. Probably do either, I'm going to do the 4-piece Supremes dinner with French fries, and I'll either do honey mustard or buffalo sauce, dipping sauce. I typically get a side of sausage gravy, and for the biscuit, and I just pour the gravy over the biscuit. And so I eat biscuit and gravy also. It's good stuff. Adam, I run H335 because I use, oh yeah, exactly. You can use it in your 223 loads. Yep. And you can load both. You can load both at 26.5 grains. Yeah, and same thing, like you can run tack in 223. Well, that's what's good about Shooter's World match rifle. So I was running 26, I think it's 26.4 grains with a 65 grain Sierra Game King in 223. And that load was, I mean, stacking, 5-shot groups at 100 yards. That's actually, I let a buddy of mine borrow that. It was a Savage 110 Hog Hunter in 223. And I let him borrow it so his son could take it deer hunting. Not this past season, but the season before. And he killed his first deer ever with that gun. Shot a doe at like 90 yards, just perfect heart shot, just blew the heart. So that was pretty cool. It shot really, really well. So yeah, Shooter's World match rifle, very similar. Like you can work up. Yeah, it'd be good for Grendel, good for 223. So good crossover. 308, right? So if you have a 223 and a 308, like you got an AR and then maybe a hunting rifle in 308, that'd be a great powder to get. Really good, versatile powder. Old McDonald making me hungry. Yeah, I know. I am starving right now. So we are headed to Bojangles. We're on the run a lot this week, so not going to be cooking dinner at the house too much. I do need to sit out some deer meat, though, for the night, for the 1 or 2 nights we are actually home. But tonight will be a Bojangles run, which I'm not too upset about. I don't really need a reason to go eat Bojangles, but I do look for every opportunity I have to eat at Bojangles. Or Popeyes. Popeyes is really good too, but if you go to Popeyes, you need to get the chicken tenders blackened. That's the best way to eat Popeyes chicken. Don't get the spicy sandwich that people kill people for. No, don't mess with any of that. Just go to Popeyes, I think it's a 5-piece tender meal with fries, and tell them you want the tenders blackened. You can thank me later. Alright, they should be finishing up. I just got the low battery alert. I mean, we've been streaming for quite a while, so. You said, I'm glad you mentioned the Ruger M77 is designed to not be free floated. Where did you get the data? That's just every M77 I've ever seen or held or owned. I've had several come through my hands and I've owned. They are all of them. There's complete stock barrel contact on all of them. So, which I'm assuming maybe it's the way the action screws are, they were designed to retain the action into the stock. Maybe that's the case. Oh, CW, you got a phone call. Well, you didn't miss anything. I was talking about food. I was talking about Bojangles and Popeyes. Just talking about eating chicken. You didn't miss nothing. Adam, I always load max powder loads in my guns. Velocity, typically mega bullet. Plain out stabilize. Beats wind drift as well, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of that's your line of thinking there. Which I do for the most part too. I mean, if it's a cartridge that I've loaded for, like 6.5 Creedmoor, if it's something I'm really familiar with or comfortable with, and I just want to try a new bullet in it or something, or a new powder combination, yeah, I typically, I'll at least start maybe midpoint toward the higher end on the charge weight range. What are your thoughts on the new Winchester Stayball powders? Home in the White Oaks is asking that question. I've only used 6.5 Stayball, and I haven't really tested it enough to say whether I like it or not. I can tell you that it hasn't blown me away in terms of, not physically, but it hasn't really just been like, oh man, this is an incredible powder, I need to make sure I use it all the time. I haven't had those results yet. So, but like the HD and stuff, I have no clue. I haven't messed with any of those. Stayball Match or HD, haven't messed with them. CW Tuesdays here. Kentucky Fried has a deal on wings and thighs, like a bucket, $10. I'm in. Yes, sir. That's what I'm. Fried chicken is where it's at, man. You really want to get me worked up? Get me some fried chicken. Get me some fried catfish, and we're all in, right? Get me some fried shrimp. I eat the tails. I don't peel them. I don't split them. I eat the tails. I eat the whole thing. And I'll say roll tide while I'm doing it. So tell everyone about chocolate bit. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Chocolate gravy. That's just good stuff. Yeah. Not sure it's all over in Bama, but in Florence on Fridays, Stags had chocolate biscuits. Yeah, I know. Well, but that's the problem, right? You go to some places that like actually try to sell it, then you got to do that chocolate right. I mean, you got to do it right. You can mess it up. You can burn it real quick too. CW, I have video coming on 30 out 6 with Stable. Oh, good. Nice. So y'all check that out. Go check out CW's channel as well. Y'all need to know that some of these powders that you're seeing change names are the same recipes, just rebranded names as the patents are being used by various. Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. Just like I was saying, Shooter's World match rifle. I mean, a guy from Shooter's World that works there told me that it is a clone of Accurate 2520. So, yeah, that kind of stuff happens. Do you watch Andrew Tate? I have seen him. I know who he is. Once your patents go out, other people can make your product. Harvey Popeyes, Ghost Pepper Wings. I haven't tried that. I'm not big on like the really spicy stuff. That's not really my jam. That blackened is about as spicy as I want it. You can get those spicy. You can say, if you're at Popeyes, you can go, hey, I want the blackened, give me the tenders blackened and make them spicy. That right there, that'll kick you in the teeth. It just will. It's really good. But 5 of those, man, I'm sweating after eating 5 of them. So I hope you get where God wants you to go. But I like the small channel too. I'm a huge fan. I would have never even have gone down the monetized route if it wasn't for my wife. We were sitting there, she was looking at something and she was like, wait a second. How many subscribers do you have? How many watch hours do you? And I was looking at my analytics. I was like, well, I don't know. I got all this. And she was like, well, why aren't you, trying to get something for your time? And I was like, I just enjoy doing it. I don't know. I just have fun. So I was like, I just make videos about stuff I'm doing, things I enjoy, things I'm trying. I was like, in the reloading community in general here on YouTube is pretty awesome, right? Like I never would have met guys like CW, Zach, right? Derek, a lot of the guys, all you guys in the comment section now, right? It's really neat when you get on here and you get to interact with different people who've had different experiences or can validate something that you've tried or tested. They're like, oh yeah, that's worked for me as well. Or no, that hasn't worked. You're probably better off trying something else, right? Going a different route. When you can pull from that collective experience, it's a huge benefit in the community. Monetize for extra ammo. There's no extra ammo. It's just called trying to pay off debts from buying reloading crap. So there's no extra anything. But yeah, it's just what I love to do. So, and I really enjoy just bringing you guys along for the ride. It's a lot of fun. And that's why I was telling my wife, I was like, I would still be making this, and I probably wouldn't be doing live streams, but I would be making YouTube content about reloading if I had 0 subscribers. I'd be the guy just posting videos. Nobody's watching. I don't care. I think it's cool. So, oh yeah, you better believe it. Hey, we're all blessed. The fact that we're all sitting here on this YouTube live stream, the fact that we can even be on this live stream, we're blessed. We are blessed far beyond what we deserve, 100%. That is a fact. So, let's cool trade that's handy in the future for anyone who plinks. Oh yeah, most definitely. It's definitely something good to get into if you're remotely interested, or if you like to shoot, or anything related to firearms in general. It's nice to be able to have the ability to load your own ammo if you can't just go buy it off the shelf, right? It's a good skill to have, and the means to make your own is pretty awesome. So let's see. Well, they're still doing stuff. All right. Yeah, one of the things I really like about reloading is being able to fine tune or refine a load to a particular firearm, right? That's probably been the best part of it for me. I just really enjoy that part of going through the, it's a process. You get a new gun, or you even get a used gun, right? Something that's new to you, and you get it in, and then you start the process of figuring out what it likes, right? I enjoy that more than anything, really. And then once I do that, now I take that into the field and I go kill a deer with it. That's the ultimate for me. That and the loads that I've worked up for other people, and they send me pictures, like my buddy Richard, right? He's killed an elk out in, I believe it was New Mexico. Killed an elk out there with a load I worked up for him. His wife killed the first deer she's ever killed, which was a monster buck, with a load that I worked up. He's killed really big bucks with loads I've worked up. Coyotes, he sends me pictures every time he kills something. He's like, hey, ammo worked again. So that's the type of stuff that's just really awesome. Or like working up a load, for a rifle that I have, and then, my wife killed her first deer, right? Killed a doe, and then a year later, killed a really nice 8-point, and just being a part of that. Not just, hey, let's go buy the ammo, sight in the gun, and go hunt, but actually being a part of that and making the round that did that. That's really awesome. Yep, 100%. Oh yeah, when my buddy Richard sent me that picture of the elk, I mean, it was like in snow, it was all snowy and everything. And a big old bull elk's just laying there, and he's just sitting there, grinning ear to ear. Man, I got that picture out of nowhere. I knew he was going on the hunt, but I wasn't even thinking about it. And then I get the text, and I'm just like, holy smokes. So it's awesome. Oh yeah, you can make your own primers too. Yeah, that's a thing. I've never done that, but I think that's a thing. Actually, I posted about it. Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville, Alabama. They got in thousands upon thousands of federal large rifle primers. I did a post on it on my community tab. They're $85 a brick, so $85 for 1,000. If anyone's coming through the area. Whole lot of meat to pack out on an elk. I'd be winded. Oh, you and me both. You and me both. But yeah, primers are starting to definitely come back. I mean, I'm seeing them more and more online, seeing them more and more in the shelf or in stores, sitting on shelves. So, AmericanReloading.com, go there. They always have primers in stock. So, things are definitely kind of coming back to a point, which is good to see. But all right, well, I think I need to stop because my phone is about to die, and I actually have to crank my vehicle to plug it in to charge it. And if I charge it, then I got to change the orientation. So we'll catch you guys next time. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have joined and stayed, especially guys that have stayed this whole time. Holy smokes. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. So thank you again. Guys, we will catch y'all on the next live stream, or just be checking out the videos I'll be posting soon. Got more stuff on 6.5 Creedmoor. Like I said, I loaded up 50 rounds of 30 TC earlier today. Just uploaded a video of converting 6.5 Creedmoor to 30 TC brass. Uploaded that video earlier today, so you guys go check that out. But that's it. Hope everyone has a great evening. And yeah, God bless, man. We'll catch y'all next time.